All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. I got Carter and Richie tonight. How we doing, boys?
Duke, it's hump day, man. We're 24 hours away from kickoff.
Yeah, man. I'm doing great, man. I'm pumped up. We got just, like Richie said, man, 24 hours till we kick off, till the Notre Dame Fighting Irish take on the Penn State Nittany Lions. And we got pregame press conferences today. We got kind of updates on injuries, all kinds of different stuff happening, man. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready for tomorrow to get here. I'm ready for 7:30, ready to kick off, ready to get this show on the road, But other than that, man, pretty solid day, pretty solid Wednesday, middle of the week. Get everything going and get everything moving and grooving for the weekend coming up. How about you, Duke? How's your week going?
Everything's rolling good, man. Can't complain. It is Wednesday. We are one more sleep away until we put the foot to 4 panels, 8 laces down there in South Beach. This is, everything that, I sound like a broken record. This is everything we've worked up to as far as the season has gone. So where we at? How we feeling? Wonder to know what's running through your guys' minds.
Yeah, man. I'm feeling good. I mean, we are exactly 24 hours away before it's time to put belt to ass. It's time to go out there, play 4 quarters of fuck you football, and really get this shit, get this show on the road. Show them what Notre Dame's about. I mean, this is, we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, and we will. We'll talk about it pretty much the whole show today. We'll talk about both games, but I mean, I'm pumped up and ready to go. I'm feeling good. I know that Marcus Freeman's pumped up, ready to go. I know he has the guys locked in, ready to go. So I mean, at this point, all the as they say, the hay's in the barn, man. The work's done. It's time to go out there and put the show on.
Right. I just feel like we're at that point to where we've reached critical mass. It is time to put up or shut up. There's some stuff on social media that we can get into right off the bat.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely, man. Well, there's a whole bunch going on. The one thing I was looking at is, the conferences and how they fared in the postseason. And I saw this graphic come across my timeline today, and I think it's pretty interesting. So this is the postseason records by conference as of, going into the semifinals game. So obviously, there's a couple teams that have played more than one game in this and everything like that, like Ohio State and stuff like that in the Big Ten win record. But I mean, what jumps up at you guys when you first take a look?
I think the Mighty Mac at 5-2. That's an
Of course you would.
I mean, that's a big eyebrow raiser for me at least. Being a good old Golden Flash alum. Seeing that conference up there, with a winning record nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. That's fair, Duke. What are you looking at? What jumps out to you?
Well, I think outside of Conference USA is probably the lowest rated conference on the board here. I think the Mountain West being 1-4, Sun Belt 4-3. The Pac-2, only one of them made a bowl game. But the big thing that sticks out to me is a lot of people are going to jump on the ACC, the ACC 2-11. That to me, me personally, I don't care about that. One of the things that catches my eye is the American at 6-2. It's pretty much a road-off conference. They're in that tweener. Are they a big-time conference or are they not? It's the old Big East essentially, and for the American to have some continuity in the conference, for me, I feel like is one of those things that, they're building towards something. And typically every year for the last 5 or 6 years, their best teams have gotten poached, like Cincinnati and, UCF. A lot of these other schools that were in that conference have gotten poached. So, and I feel like the MAC had a lot of guys play. They didn't have many guys sit out. The Mountain West is meh. Sun Belt, typically, they had a lot of transfers, so a lot of those teams were incomplete. But realistically, when we're talking Big Ten and SEC here, there's only a 1-game difference. So I'm just not I'm not going to subscribe that, every conference is top heavy. The Big Ten and SEC, the SEC teams have gotten dog walked in the playoffs, but they've still won 8 bowl games. So
yeah. But I think when you look at it, I would have to look at it closer. But I think when you look at it, most of those 8 wins are against, well, first of all, not the Big Ten. Second of all, probably lesser conferences than any of the Power Five. I know that, obviously Ole Miss had the win over Duke, so that's an ACC school. But other than that, I mean, a lot of the SEC's wins came against some of these lower tier conferences, and not too many against those big Power Five schools. So there's 6 losses, though. I think the majority of those came at the hands of the Big Ten, and obviously, independent in the Notre Dame's case with Georgia. But I mean, you could talk about a lot of it. Obviously, there's going to be a head-to-head matchup to either even the score with the SEC and Big Ten, right? If Texas upsets Ohio State, they'll both be 9-6 in the postseason, and Texas will have a chance to go 10-6 for the SEC. Or the Big Ten can just claim the outright, postseason championship or whatever with an Ohio State win, and they have Penn State to fall back on as well. So 2 Big Ten schools getting into action this Thursday and Friday. So who knows? It'll be interesting to see how it all finishes. I think what this tells me is that clearly, well, first of all, the Big Ten and SEC played the most games, so they got the most teams in postseason play. Additionally, they won the most games. So I don't think anybody's shocked by those 2 being the top 2 conferences in football, right?
No.
Exactly. And the ACC being trash, really not that shocking. I think we all knew that they kind of were. But outside of that, obviously we have a lot of information, and I just thought this was interesting because this is kind of, obviously the transfer portal's closed right now. You can be in the transfer portal, but you can't enter it. So there's no more entering the transfer portal for a little bit, but this just gives you an idea as to who's losing who, and kind of the programs that are facing a lot of attrition in the portal here. A lot of SEC schools leading the way. What do you see up here?
Well,
this is just in the SEC. Never mind. I thought this was nationally. Never mind. It's just SEC schools. That makes sense.
Now, if you look at some of these programs that are on the topsy-turvy, Arkansas leading the way with 31. I don't know how much Sam Pittman has got, what is going on, and I'm not shocked. Arkansas lost a lot of players. Oklahoma, same thing. And going down the list, I have a little intimate knowledge of the Mississippi State thing. They're stacking all their chips. They're not paying right now. They're stacking everything in the athletic department. I have some speculation on why, but it's just pure speculation. So, and there's a lot of people that are outside the program that aren't contributing to the program, complaining about the program at Mississippi State. And I think if you don't give Jeff Levy any resources, how do you expect him to do anything? This is came down to a resource game. Alabama, I think Kalen DeBoer did a purge there. Same thing with Elko. Kentucky, Mark Stoops, big buyout. Heard he's not easy to get along with. Same thing with Auburn. They had like 2 or 3 quarterbacks transfer out. I think Hugh Freeze, have an opinion of what you want of him. He is trying to overturn that roster. They're bringing in a lot of kids from Alabama. They're bringing in 8 out of the top 10 kids from Alabama. I don't believe the Tide have any of those. So I think Caleb DeBoer, has got to get it going. I know the recruiting class is highly rated. Same thing with Tennessee, LSU. I think people are just fleeing from Brian Kelly because no one wants to be around there. Florida's a interesting ordeal. I think Billy Napier cut some of the fat out of there. Yeah. Going to Ole Miss, I think it was kind of the same thing. And the same thing with Vandy. I think you're going to see a much improved Vanderbilt team this year. Drink, I think, cut a lot of guys out of there just for the simple fact of Missouri has money. There was a lot of speculation that Drink might move. I don't think so because Missouri has resources. I think he's reloading. South Carolina, the same thing. And Georgia, the very interesting endeavor. They lost a couple of big name guys, but the big thing is that Kirby ain't shelling out. He ain't shelling out dough. The collective at Georgia ain't shelling out dough because you had one good year. You got to have sustained success at Georgia, and I don't hate that model. I really don't. And I would say you're going to see a 12 on there because I wouldn't be shocked if Beck hits the portal probably in the spring. And then Texas.
He already declared for the draft.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Beck already declared for the draft. So he's gone.
We'll have to have a chat about that. But Texas, they're in the championship run. I'm not shocked that they don't have much movement there.
Yeah. No, that all makes sense. I mean, it is what it is. You're going to lose a lot of players. And I'd like to see the transfer ends and see what they're getting back, but I knew that you'd have some insight into that. You're big into the SEC transfer portal news. So, but other than that, I mean, I don't really care, honestly. Like, lose a bunch of guys, bring a bunch of guys in. I don't care. Let's see what we have in spring and go from there. But the one thing that you brought up was Brian Kelly and LSU and them kind of facing a mass exodus. And I think that is interesting because I do think I've heard from a lot of different people that that program is at a crossroads right now, which brings me to another topic, and we'll get into some Notre Dame stuff now. But I saw this video, and I think I sent it to you guys, but how do you think Brian Kelly's feeling right now? Let me show you the video first, and then we'll see. Because this is what
he said. I want a legitimate shot to win a national title. Dan, what I'm saying is this: it ain't happening at Notre Dame.
Yep, it ain't happening at Notre Dame, is what he said. And so, how do you think he feels watching Notre Dame in the Final Four, one win away from competing for a national title, when he said essentially he wants to go somewhere to compete for a national title?
You know that red. He's getting all red faced, and that vein's ready to pop out of his forehead.
Oh, he's smashing water bottles on tables right now. He's so mad.
Well, the thing with Brian Kelly that he overplayed his hand. He went for the retirement buyout because I would say this is his last big job, and I don't think he was going to get that at Notre Dame. So I think he just went for financial stability. LSU was dumb enough to give him a bad contract, and they're going to have to pay to get out of it. Do I think that Brian Kelly gets removed at the end of the year? That's
an expensive removal.
It is. And for the LSU people out there, 8-4 is not going to cut it. And they gotta do something because Brian Kelly, I think, has to bare minimum make the playoff next year. He's got Nussmeier coming back. I think that's a huge boost. He didn't declare for the draft, and
that helps.
Which Nuss just got paid, so I think he'll be okay. But I think at the end of the day, Brian Kelly's got to look himself in the mirror and say, did I make the right decision? Because he was lazy at Notre Dame. And then especially when the recruiting took a big dip, regardless of whatever anybody at Ohio State wants to tell you that have the Buckeye glasses on, Tony Alford, as soon as he left Notre Dame, the recruiting kind of took a dip. So
it did for sure. And here's the thing about, it's great. Like, I mean, I don't. At this point, I'm good. I'm glad he left. I'm glad. I mean, obviously, much rather have Marcus Freeman. Much rather be in the position we're in right now, competing for a national championship, beating teams on a national stage, something he never did. Brian Kelly never once went to a playoff, went to a bowl game, and actually showed up and beat somebody with a fucking pulse. So it's great that Notre Dame is where they are right now, and thank you for Brian Kelly for leaving and allowing us to get there. But as far as Brian Kelly and his future, I don't give a fuck if he has Garrett Nussmeier. I don't care if he has fucking Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck. I don't care. He had a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback that was putting up damn near 45 points a game and couldn't win anything. So until he figures out how to get a defense on the field, I don't care if he has Garrett Nussmeier. I mean, give him Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter. But as far as all that goes, hey, I'm glad he wanted to go somewhere where he could compete for national titles, and he hasn't even sniffed one.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the big games that Marcus has won this year, I would say that Marcus has won more big games in his tenure than, especially this season, than Brian Kelly's ever won. And the big thing Marcus just needs to do is hopefully he can get some guys drafted and put that NFL pedigree out there, and that'll help a ton in recruiting. So
yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, we talked about it all offseason. I mean, all the things that he needed to do to help recruiting. Well, he's doing most of them. Riley Leonard's looking like he might even get drafted, so that'll even help even more. So I think you're looking at a very successful year. The fact that they beat Indiana and Georgia in the playoffs is going to help recruiting immensely. The fact that they are competing for a national championship, obviously the semifinals right now, obviously. So that's all huge for all of that. Now, other thing that I saw, I know, I don't know if we talked about this, but I know I knew it, and I don't know if you guys did see this either, but hold on, let me pull it up here if I can. But Notre Dame earned itself a nice little payday for beating Georgia in the CFP. Now, why is this important? And so every team that advances to the semifinals gets $14 million. The difference is the teams in conferences, that money goes to the conference to be split up amongst all members, right? So like Ohio State got $14 million and went to the Big Ten to be split 16 ways or 18 ways or whatever. So everybody gets less than $1 million. Obviously they got 2 in, so you're going to get $28 million split 18 ways or whatever. But still, you're getting $1.5 million or whatever. And obviously SEC gets $14 million split amongst 16 member institutions. So, I mean, and then James Franklin goes out, and we'll jump into that a little bit, but Notre Dame getting a $14 million payday is huge. James Franklin goes out. I agree, Savvy. What a loser, saying shit like that. Watching the press conference, listening to Franklin's stupid comments and Freeman's professional demeanor the whole time, I sincerely think Franklin just earned an ass whooping. He did. I don't know why he did it. I don't know why he did it. I don't like James Franklin. I don't know if anybody likes James Franklin. But for those of you who don't know, and I honestly feel like he should have just kept his fucking mouth shut, because it wasn't a bad statement. Like, what he said wasn't that bad. But I don't know why you say it. Like, there's no purpose.
Headlines.
And for those of you that don't know, he said, no disrespect to Notre Dame, but I think everybody should be in a conference, and then went on a 5-minute rant about how not playing in a conference leads to inequality and schedules and plays and all this and everything like that. It's like, dude, just shut the fuck up and play the game. Like, you play tomorrow a team that's not in a conference, and you're going to bring up joining the conference. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Joe.
What's up, Joe?
But it's just so stupid.
If I may join in on this, I was reading something, some follow-up things on that. I guess Penn State has food poisoning, so I don't know if that was on a message board. Somebody had
roll the excuses in.
So somebody had sent that to me. But yeah, Sid brings it up here. Whatever you say, no disrespect, but disrespect.
With all due respect, ma'am, that does come with a disrespectful comment. Isn't that from some movie?
Yes, it's Talladega Nights. He said, with all due respect, you can go fuck yourself. I said with all due respect. That doesn't mean you can just say whatever you want, Ricky Bobby. Yes, it does.
I'm thinking that is Will Ferrell.
And before we reset the show here, one of the things that I got on this topic is that so the teams that didn't make their conference championship, so Ohio State doesn't deserve to be in the playoff then because they didn't play that extra game. It's just crazy because all the conference champions lost.
Yeah, exactly what he's saying right here. Yeah. He continues advocating that, and it's like now you're not only are we saying that conference champions are what is important. Now it's just playing in the game. If you don't play in the game, because Penn State played in the game, so they should be in the playoffs, even though they lost that game. Even though they lost that game and lost to Ohio State earlier in the year, they should be in over Ohio State because they played for it.
Well, look at Penn State's schedule. The toughest team they played outside of Ohio State was Illinois.
I know.
I thought it was Bowling Green.
But I just, James Franklin can say what he wants, but Notre Dame's getting a check for $14 million.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, like everybody keeps, and I've had arguments with the Big Ten, SEC, doesn't matter what conference, I've had arguments with everybody about the reason to be independent. And I have said that I would like Notre Dame to join a conference eventually. I've said that in the past. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I do. But it doesn't make sense to anymore. Notre Dame's deal with NBC is almost as lucrative, if not more lucrative, than the ACC and Big 12 deals. It's not quite up to par with the SEC and Big 10, but when you add in the money that they earn from these payouts from college football playoff, bowl games, everything like that, they're earning at a higher clip. So I don't know why. And if I'm every big school, if I'm Ohio State and Michigan right now, which has carried the Big 10 for 30 fucking years. Why? Why am I splitting this revenue with Maryland and Penn State and Rutgers and all these shitty schools that can't even get it together to field a product that's worth fucking watching? Why am I, as Ohio State and Michigan, sharing this money with these schools? Why wouldn't I go do what Notre Dame did? Why wouldn't I go to Fox and be like, hey, I'll sign with you directly. Fuck this Big Ten shit. I'm going independent.
Well, it's like doing a group project in college. You're doing all the work, and everybody else, you get an A while everybody else doesn't do shit, and everybody else gets the same grade as you.
Well, and the other side of this was Penn State was independent for years before they joined the Big Ten in '93, and all of a sudden, it's now an issue. So I think that if I was Penn State, I think it's more of an issue here because you got to play SMU at home. You got that revenue. You got all the ticket revenue. You got to play Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl. And now you got to play Notre Dame. Well, they didn't play in a conference. Well, what else? I mean, for James Franklin, you've got one win against Ohio State to hang your hat on, and 10-2 every year.
This is funny. I like you. When Franklin elects Saban commissioner, Nick is going to put you in timeout. Nick needs to worry about the SEC not fucking falling apart without him, and Franklin needs to worry about winning a top 10 game for once. But that's neither here nor there.
So, but anyway, if you're out there watching, come on over from Twitter to YouTube. We got all kinds of people in the chat tonight. If you could hit that like and subscribe button and help us grow this show, we're trying to blow it up as much as possible. But if hit that like and subscribe button, that helps us out more than anything. So, what do you got next, Carter? Yeah, well, let's get to. I want to bring this up. Charles brings up a good point. Do you think bulletin board comments like that make much of a difference once the whistle blows? ND already knows its mission. No,
I don't think so. It's fun for fans to get fired up about. I mean, if James Franklin took a direct shot at a player or a coach or something like that, then yeah, they get fired up. But I honestly, I don't think it matters. Notre Dame doesn't need bulletin board material. This team is focused. This team is ready to go. They don't need comments like that to get up for this game. And if they did, I would be very concerned because this is the biggest game they're going to play. More teams in, less relevant. Yeah, exactly. It is, and they're already savvy. They're already getting rid of the auto buys for conference champions. That's going to be gone probably next year. And all of a sudden, this whole reason they did that to keep Notre Dame from getting a bye is going to be taken out of the fabric of the playoff. And all of a sudden, Notre Dame's eligible for a bye just like everybody else. And so it matters even less to be in a conference. But yeah, it just makes sense. But other than that, I mean, we can go ahead and okay. Hey, I mean, Riley Leonard transferred to Notre Dame because it was the best opportunity. I don't know what you're getting at here. Hey, did Drew Aller grow up a Penn State fan?
I don't know. Will Howard grew up in Pennsylvania, and they didn't recruit him. But,
Drew Aller grew up a Buckeye. He wanted to be a Buckeye so bad, and they didn't recruit him.
Yeah, I think he was Mr. Ohio from Edina when they were. I forget what year.
So I mean, I don't know if it really, if it matters where people wanted to go. This is a different day and age. Anyways, though, let's talk about a little football here. We'll start off. I want to start off with the Texas-Ohio State game. Or actually, I forgot. Now let's talk about it. This is interesting. I almost forgot one thing that I wanted to talk about on social media, and that is where'd it go? Maybe. Oh yeah, right. That is the obviously a lot of changes in the NFL. We'll shift gears to the NFL here real quick. A lot of head coaching changes, and there's a lot of opinions on this, but here's just your franchises over the past 20 years with the most head coaching changes. And the Raiders obviously fired Antonio Pierce yet again. Or not yet again, but fired Antonio Pierce after one full year as the head coach. He was the interim coach for a lot of last year, too. But they've had 12 coaches in the last 20 years. Broncos have had 10. My Browns have had 9, and Dolphins have had 9. I mean, 2 of those 4 are playoff teams this year. Right. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, I guess, but the other 2 are picking top 5.
Yeah, always picking top 5, always going through a coach every 2 years. The Raiders, they haven't been worth a shit since the was it the early 2000s when they had Rich Gannon and everybody.
Gruden.
Gruden until Tampa traded for Gruden, and that's when Tampa won the Super Bowl. The Browns, I mean, they've gone through. It's so cyclical.
The sad thing is
since '99.
The sad thing is the Browns have 9, and Stefanski has been there for the past 6 years. So they really had 9 in 12 years at one point.
Yeah, I mean, there's no continuity at any of those franchises. I mean, Miami, and I have intimate knowledge, and I've talked to 2 guys that have played for Miami, and Miami does not care about the players. The only thing that owner cares about is money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Switching it up on you, though. I did hear some rumors about who's going to be taking over in Oakland. And, there is a minority owner, and not minority, a minority owner in the Oakland ownership group that has some ties to Bill Belichick. So I guess Tom Brady reached out to Belichick to see if he would be willing to leave North Carolina a couple weeks after taking the job to become the head coach of the Oakland Raiders. What do you think? Bill Belichick to the Raiders? Do you like that?
Hey, you know what? I'd love it for him. Maybe he can get Don Shula's record because, Don Shula is the winningest coach in the NFL. I would like him to see if he can, hopefully get that record.
Yeah.
If I'm Belichick, I wouldn't be shocked if Brady ain't calling Vrabes, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe he would. I mean, so the names that I've seen floated out there, sorry, Rich, are Belichick, Ben Johnson, And then there was one other one that I was so kind of surprised, but I didn't see Vrabel's name. But I mean, why not?
I mean, Vrabel and Brady were teammates for all those years in New England, so I think that. But it's anything with the Raiders. The Raiders have cash flow issues because all of Davis's net worth is tied to the team, and I think that's why they always settle for mediocrity when it comes to that end of it. But also, I feel like that if the Raiders could get some continuity and hire a competent general manager, unlike look at their past general managers up until when Al Davis stopped making decisions.
Yeah, you had Mike Mayock from the network.
Oh God,
I forget. I mean, yeah, he was the one that really stuck out in my mind was Mike Mayock. He would be on the combine talking about guys running their underwear like, oh, I just love his speed. It's like, dude, come on.
Yep. Well, then I didn't. We never talked about this, I don't think. But did you see? Zach brings it up. You want a fun fact about socialism and conferences? Google how much Washington State and Oregon State got from the Pac-12 just off the Rose Bowl. Did you see that?
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, because it's their bowl game.
Yeah, the Rose Bowl, because it still has ties to the Pac-12. The Rose Bowl paid each of them $50 million for Oregon and Ohio State playing in the Rose Bowl. So Washington State and Oregon State each got $50 million for them for a game they had nothing to do with.
Green Grass here brings up a pretty good point. Or no, not this one, that one.
Yeah. I forget he's talking shit. Yeah, I mean, he finally makes it to a final. A 4-team playoff. He finally made one. He had to win a game to get there, but he finally got to the 4-team playoff for the first time, and he's just talking a whole bunch of shit. But Notre Dame can leave the ACC anytime. That's true. My only problem is you all joined the ACC, kind of. They did. That was, but
Well, that was also to keep the Florida State in the Clemson games alive.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it was beneficial for both parties. I mean, they didn't have to actually join a conference, and then it really helped out in COVID because Notre Dame would have had nobody to play if they didn't get a little boost by the ACC. I mean, take your hockey out of the Big Ten. I mean, the Big Ten schools would like that. Notre Dame's really good at hockey. But let's get into a little preview action here. We got 2 games going on this week. We got obviously Notre Dame Penn State tomorrow night 7:30. We'll preview that one last. But I want to get a quick preview of Texas Ohio State in because ouch. Yeah. Ouch. That's a low blow for Buckeye fans. But all right, let's get into Texas Ohio State. So, Duke, what do you think when you look at this game? What are your initial thoughts?
As of looking at all the numbers, the big thing that sticks out to me is third down efficiency and the red zone efficiency, and the touchdown rate. All the teams that are left in the playoff are all top 10 in third down and touchdown efficiency. Defense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I feel like this is going to be a lot of strength on strength, and I just heed a little warning. I'm just telling you now, for everybody that's out there buying national championship merch that's got Ohio State colors on it, and we ain't put foot to laces. Anybody can win this thing. Out of the 4 teams, anybody can win this thing. And I get it, being confident and overly confident. Now let's remember something here. When Ohio State played Florida in the national championship in, what was that, 2006?
2006, yeah, 7.
06 season 7, yeah. 41-14.
So
that was a great day.
Oh, it was an awful day.
So when
Thanks,
we
Roy
look
Hall.
at
Just kidding.
when we look at things like that, that is something that I look at because Ohio State was the favorite in that game. I think they were favored by 8 or 9 points, and you've seen what happened. And I'm not saying that, Ohio State's going to go out there and get blown out or Texas is going to get blown out. There's going to be some defining moments in this game. And if you think that either team out of the 4 teams, if they think that they're just going to be able to walk in there and win the game, it's not going to be that simple. I'm telling you, Steve Sarkisian is an elite play caller. He wouldn't have NFL interest if he was not elite on offense. And, Sark's 1-0 against Ohio State. I get it. Kerry Combs is gone, but anybody can be beat on any day.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. So just to break it down real quick, I won't spend a whole lot of time going through numbers and everything like that. Don't want to get too. But when you look at it, I mean, offensively, Texas is barely top 20 in points per game. Ohio State's top 10. Total offense, Texas has a little bit better offense overall, but that's obviously, I mean, it's just so hard to know what this offense from Ohio State's going to be because the past 2 games, their offense has been totally different than what the rest of the season has been. So their numbers over the course of the year are a lot lower than what they have been the past 2 weeks. Past 2 weeks, they're averaging almost 500 yards a game as opposed to the rest of the season, only 430. But where you look at it, I mean, like you said, it's strength on strength. You got Ohio State has the best defense in college football. It's not close. There's really nobody else can even make a claim to it anymore. And then you got Texas, who's a top 3 defense in college football. Ohio State shuts down the run about as good as anybody, and Texas sucks at running the football. They're 63rd in the country. They're not very good at running the football, so I don't expect them to have a lot of success there. They are decent at passing the football. Unfortunately, they're going to be going up against the best pass defense in the country. And then vice versa on defense for Texas. Like I said, 3rd best overall. They're 14th in the run, and Ohio State's 53rd at running it on offense. So, again, it's going to be hard for both these teams to run the football. I think there's some passing opportunities for Ohio State because, the passing defense at Texas is good. It's 3rd. But you're going to, like I said, Jeremiah Smith is just an X factor in that. But when you break it down just on paper right there, I mean, very evenly matched teams. Offenses struggle at times. Defenses are great. Where it comes down to is your efficiencies. I mean, red zone efficiency, they're both pretty much the same on the red zone. I mean, Ohio State's a little better red zone scoring. They're 45th as opposed to 95th. But where the difference is, Ohio State's 5th in the country at scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So when they get inside the 25, they're getting 7 points more than just about anybody in the country. And they're also the 2nd best defense in the red zone in the country. So, I mean, when I break it down and look at it, it's a very evenly matched game, but I think ultimately skill matters, and you have more skill set at the playmaker positions at Ohio State than you do at Texas right now. It's just my opinion, but I think you're in for a good game. I don't think this is going to, but if I had broke down the same numbers for Oregon and Ohio State, I guarantee you would have gotten a similar result, although Oregon's defense probably not as good as Texas is. But other than that, I think it's pretty close. But Richie, what do you think when you look at all of that? What do you think? And then we'll give our predictions on this game.
I think the defenses are. That's going to be the big thing coming in on Friday. Just to see how well Ohio State plays with, how well they can keep that momentum going in from last week against Oregon, shutting down that number 1 team. I mean, the red zone defense, they're 2nd in the nation with, 61%. And Texas is, they're right behind them. Just the big X factor is Jeremiah Smith, but I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring shootout. I think it's going to be like a 24-20 football game. I would love to see if Ohio State's tailbacks can get going, pound the inside of the tackles. Maybe hopefully Chip Kelly runs some trap plays, maybe some counters, and maybe catch Texas off guard instead of having to constantly have Will Howard drop back, hit JJ down the seams, down the red line and everything. That's what I would like to see happen. And Ewers is going to be in a battle for his life. I think Friday night he's going to get pressure. He's going to get those twists and stunts coming from the backers and the D tackles, because Jim Knowles is going to. I mean, the guy's a master at what he does. I mean, he's a master of his craft with his scheme and his coverages and everything. So I think it could be a long night for Ewers, but it's going to be a close game.
I completely agree. Go ahead.
I think this game comes down to Will Howard. I think Will Howard has to take that, I wouldn't say next step, but Will Howard cannot start out like the way he did against Penn State. I just think that, you have the JJ Smith X factor, but I also think the X factor in this game for Ohio State's going to be the secondary, because I feel like a team in the playoffs has not tried to test them down the field as much as
Ohio State secondary.
Yeah. I don't feel like Oregon had a very, very good chance as far as them holding up in the pass pro. I think Texas can hold up in the pass pro better than what Oregon can. So if Quinn Ewers gets time, it's going to be an interesting game, and I feel like it's going to be a low scoring game to this point. So that's just where I'm at on it, and I'm not 100% to make a prediction yet as far as how it goes, but I would say take the under.
Oh, so you're not going to give us a prediction, huh? Not today?
Not today. Okay.
Well, let me get some comments here before we get, and then I'll get Richie's prediction if he's ready to give his. But Dave, who's a resident Michigan fan, 0 chance Ohio State loses. They might get cheated, or a call was missed, or the snow was slippery or not slippery enough. Texas may win, but no way Ohio State loses. I don't believe they've ever lost. Ohio State will beat themselves, is what he's saying, if they. Joe, I agree with you. Notre Dame would love a shot at Ohio State after last year's game. I'm not even going to acknowledge the JSE and ZD beef that's going on right now. We'll just let that go. You guys hash it out. 13-10 is not owned, though. Let's just make that clear. But Richie, if you had to pick right now, I'm putting you on the spot. You have 100 of your hard-earned dollars. You just have to pick a winner and guess the score. What are you going with?
For Ohio State, Texas?
Ohio State, Texas.
I'm going to go 24-20, Ohio State.
24-20. There you go. All right. I mean, I like that. So I think I got a little graphic to show you what I think is about to happen on Friday night.
All right.
I'm taking Ohio State 31, Texas 10. I think they go out there and they put it on them. I just the way Ohio State's playing right now, and Quinn Ewers, I don't trust Quinn Ewers. I don't think he can do it. So I'm going to say that these 5 guys right here line up, and I won't use any derogatory statements, but they take care of business, and they keep it running all night long.
That I would agree with.
So,
all right,
Dude, go ahead and reset the show for me, and we'll jump into Notre Dame.
All right, we got about 55 people in here watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, and get us over the hump. We need to get this show blown up as soon as possible. Hitting the like and subscribe button does the most for us. Helping us grow this channel. It's one of the things that we've been working on all season long. And thanks to everybody that has tuned in this season. We're coming to about the end of it, but so that's what it is. We're one more sleep, one more night away from the 4 panels, 8 laces kicking off. Penn State, Notre Dame. Hit that like and subscribe button, and also show note tomorrow we're going at 6:30. before the Penn State Notre Dame game, just to do a little more previewing. We're going to be live at that time, 6:30 tomorrow night, right before kickoff. We're going to lead all the way up into kickoff, might stay on for a couple of drives and see where the night takes us. And then we'll be back tomorrow on Friday at 6:30 again, previewing the Ohio State,
Texas. Yep.
Ohio State, Texas. And that's when I'll probably give my prediction. But hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely like the video and help us grow this thing. But Carter?
Yeah, absolutely. So get to a couple statements here. We got a couple predictions here in the chat. Irish Eagle said OSU 41, Texas 34. I like that. Bootzilla, Ewers can't throw downfield. Oregon did take shots, and OSU defended well or didn't get Gabriel time. The guy in the upper right doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't know if that's me or you, Duke, but one of us doesn't. Problem is Notre Dame. Okay, sorry. This is Notre Dame. JSE, this guy talking has a Notre Dame hat. Yeah, I do. Do I like Notre Dame more than I hate Michigan? Be honest. Yes, absolutely. I don't care about Michigan at all. I really don't. I used to be a Michigan fan, actually, a little bit. I liked them when they had Charles Woodson and Brian Griese. But, yeah, I definitely like Notre Dame more than I hate Michigan, for sure. You hate Ohio State more than you like Michigan. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Gotcha. All right. Well, and then in the main event of everything, we have obviously down in South Beach. Hopefully everybody's getting some dinner right now down there, getting some last minute walkthroughs, maybe a little film study, and then they're going to be going to bed nice and early. They're not going to the Clevelander. They're not going out. They're not going to the strip club that Curtis Grant and those guys went to. They're not going to be out past curfew or doing any of that because there's a game tonight. Or tomorrow night, sorry. 7:30 kickoff. Notre Dame takes on Penn State to go to the national championship game, to play for a title, to accomplish all the goals that you had set out for the season. You have one chance, 60 minutes to go out there and put it all on the line and do it. So let's break down what we see what's going to happen. And all right, let me take this Michigan. Then why do I stroke OSU so hard? I don't. I'm just honest about how they're playing right now. They're one of the better teams in college football. When was the last time they beat Michigan? 2021, I believe. No, 2019. 2020, if you count, ducking as taking an L, but 2019. Yeah. So, but yeah, last time, or are you asking last time Notre Dame beat Michigan? Because I don't remember that. I'd have to look that up. It was probably 2016 or 18 or something like that. I don't know. But Notre Dame, I don't remember that. It was. I'm going to say it was 18, I think. But, yeah. Oh, Sid's got me. Yeah, 2018. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, played in South Bend and we blanked you. Yeah, why are you talking shit, bro? But anyways, let's break down this game here a little bit. And Richie, I know you've had a chance to look it over. Duke, I assume you have as well. When you look at this, I'll go ahead and break down the numbers, and then you can give me kind of your thoughts. When you look at it, Notre Dame has the fourth best scoring offense in the country, and I'm so sick and tired. And I do it too. I am very critical of Notre Dame's offense. I'm very critical of Riley Leonard as a quarterback. I'm very critical of a lot of these things. But let's give them some flowers when they earn them. They have the fourth best scoring offense in the country. That is the best scoring offense remaining in the playoffs. Okay? They have a better scoring offense than Ohio State. They have a better scoring offense than Texas. They have a better scoring offense than Penn State. So let's give them a little bit of flowers there. Now, their total offense is barely top 50. They do have a top 10 rush offense, which you talked a lot about. Their passing offense, again, it's not good. 108th in the country, all right? So we know that. But on defense, for when you're going Notre Dame's offense versus Penn State's defense, Penn State has a top 10 defense, averaging just under 290 yards a game given up. Top 10, eighth best rushing defense in the country. So it's going to be strength on strength, rushing offense, rushing defense. They do have barely a top 30 pass defense. So there is going to be some opportunities. If Riley Leonard can make some plays with his arm, there is going to be opportunities to take advantage of this secondary. It is not one of the best secondaries in college football. It is susceptible. Penn State on offense is very middle of the road, 25th best offense in total production, 18th best rushing offense, not quite comparable to Notre Dame's rushing offense, but a lot of people will make those comparisons the rest of the week just because Singletary and Katron Allen are great running backs. I don't disagree. Passing, they're barely top 60. So, I mean, when you look at it, for me, the big difference comes when you look on the defensive side of the ball. Both have great defenses, right? 8th and 6th best in the country. Notre Dame's a little worse against the run, only top 35. And like I said, Penn State's rushing offense is really good. It's pretty good, top 20. It's not excellent. It's not great. But Notre Dame does have the 5th best passing defense in the country. And I think that's where things get interesting because they're going to focus on shutting down the run. Drew Aller is going to be focused on spinning it and testing these corners. And you're going up against one of the top 5 pass defenses in the country. So I think that's where you're going to see a lot of the question marks being answered. Can this Penn State offense challenge those corners with anybody? Because they haven't challenged anybody all year on the edge. Their wide receivers just aren't up to the level. I would say even Notre Dame has better wide receivers than Penn State right now. And I think Notre Dame's wide receiver group is very average at best. I think Jordan Faison's come on really good. Bo Collins shows flashes. Jaden Greathouse shows flashes. Very inconsistent, not great. All 3 of those players would start day one at Penn State. You're going to have to shut down Tyler Warren. He's obviously a big part of the reason that their passing offense is even top 60 in the country. It would be a lot worse without him. But when you look at just straight on paper, it's another game of strength on strength. You're going to have 2 great defenses going up against 2 middle-of-the-road offenses that, I think Notre Dame has the edge in the running game. I am interested to see. I watched the all 22 of the Georgia game, and we do have a weakness at right guard. Rocco's been getting his ass kicked, and he is absolutely struggling right now. So we're going to have to find ways to scheme it up to help him. The good news is the interior defensive line for Penn State is not as good as Georgia's, so I don't think it's going to be quite as much of an issue. The bad news is if Abdul Carter plays, which there was a report today that they expect him to play, we'll see. It'll be a game time decision. Nobody really knows. So it could go either way. If Abdul Carter plays, Anthony Knapp is in for a long day. He had a long day against Simon. I keep messing up his name. I forget his name, but the kid at Georgia, number 11 or whatever. He had a long day against him, and Abdul Carter is bigger, stronger, faster.
Michael Williams.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And so it's going to be a tough day for him if Abdul Carter goes. If Abdul Carter doesn't go, this defense is significantly worse. When you look at their average yards per play given up with Abdul Carter on the field, without Abdul Carter, they give up almost twice as many yards per play when Abdul Carter is not on the field. So that's a huge stat to look at, and that's a huge issue. And so as far as that all goes, I think it's going to be a very close game. And so you guys, I'll let you guys kind of give your thoughts and everything like that, and then we'll continue.
Well, what I think is, can Notre Dame shut down that running game, that running attack with Katron Allen and Nick Singletary? If they shut down the run, I mean, Penn State's going to have no choice but to throw the ball, and they don't have anybody to throw to except for Tyler Warren. Those wideouts are not elite wideouts. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be Singleton. Sorry, Kreiner. Christ almighty. Crucify me. Jesus.
I know what you meant.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you knew who I meant. Yeah, Christ almighty. Where was I going with my thought? But anyways, yeah, I mean they're going to have to make Drew Aller throw. They're going to have to, and Al Golden's going to have to send the dogs and get him flustered, because when he gets flustered, he makes mistakes. So I think Al Golden's going to get this defense ready to go, ready to make some big plays against Penn State, and hopefully the Irish are in the title game, and maybe we'll see that monumental matchup with Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. Duke, what do you think, man? I'm interested to get your perspective, I agree with what Richie said. I think they're going to have to get pressure on Drew Aller in order to make some plays and make the turnovers have been the key for Notre Dame's defense this year.
Well, I think it comes down to shutting down Katron Allen and Singletary. If they can force Drew Aller and keep Penn State off schedule, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, keep them into obvious passing downs, I think I like Notre Dame's chances to shut them down. And I also think in this game it's going to be low scoring. JSC brings up a good point here. If that same defensive unit shows up, it's going to be a long day for Penn State. Now, now the one thing that I don't think people are going to take into consideration here, and yes, JSC hits right where I was going. I do think they're going to try to run Aller more than usual. I think that's going to be something that they're going to try to bring in as an X factor. And on the Notre Dame offensive side of the thing is I think we can't wait. We got to get Riley Leonard going in the first half. I would expect probably 7 to 8 rushes by Riley Leonard in the first half, probably 50 some odd yards. That's what I'm thinking that Denbrock's going to have dialed up. And if you get Riley Leonard rolling early, it's going to open that passing game up. And then the Jadavion Price and Love, it's going to be the Price of Love show. I just think that's something that's got to get rolling. They couldn't get it rolling against Georgia. I'd like to see Jeremiah Love end up with 15 to 20 carries, and I think that's something that we've got to see here. And then also for the guy that said Quinn Ewers doesn't throw the ball down the field, real quick, I know this is off topic, but in intermediate passing, especially across the middle, Quinn Ewers is 32 of 47 this year for a 68% clip. And I think that's going to be a big thing is what we're going to have to see in that Texas-Ohio State game. But, I don't know anything. But we're going to have a good look at what Penn State's going to try to do on offense. I think that when it comes down to it, Andy Kotelnicki's probably going to draw up some stuff like he did against Ohio State. We're gonna have a guard to start, in the slot, motion in some of that wonky stuff, and it also didn't work against Ohio State. So we'll see what he comes up with as far as a game plan wise. But I think they're going to try to run. They're going to try to run the crap out of Drew Aller, and that's just something that's going to happen. So, and Carter must have accidentally stepped out or deleted himself, but don't worry, he's going to get back in. But or his camera went out or his laptop died. But
he's back.
What happened? You're covered up, dude.
Yeah, no. Hold on. Fixing it. There we go. Jesus.
Yeah, turn your camera off.
Oh, he's pulling a Duke. Camera issues.
So yeah, I think that's one of the things that Notre Dame's got to get rolling here is they got to get Riley Leonard rolling early and often. I wouldn't be shocked to see him, come close to 100 yards again. Now Richie's got camera problems.
I think he did that one on purpose, but I think I think the X factors in this game is going to be Notre Dame's defense playing as a whole and Riley Leonard running the football. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with a lot of what you said. I think ultimately the run game's obviously paramount. I mean, that's for both teams. And Riley Leonard and Drew Aller are going to be the difference makers. It always comes down to it comes down to very simple things in football: turnover battle, time of possession, line of scrimmage, and then obviously quarterbacks can be your X factor in that. It's that simple. And I think when it comes to turnovers, Notre Dame's one of the best defenses in the country at forcing turnovers, and Notre Dame is one of the best one of the best teams in the country at getting points off turnovers. I think if you can force a couple turnovers early, just like they did against Georgia, get Penn State behind early. It'll be a good day. And then let's get a couple comments here before we finish out and give predictions, everything like that. But Joe said, any way you look at it, the last 3 quarterbacks we face may be the best quarterbacks we faced all season, and that's how the playoffs should be. There's no doubt about it. Rourke, Gunnar Stockton, and Drew Aller are the best 3 quarterbacks Notre Dame has faced all season. That's not – and Gunnar Stockton has only played 1 game, and I'm already saying that. That's not even questionable. The physicality of Penn State is not the same as Georgia. I agree. We'll see. I'm interested to see what the physicality of Penn State actually is, because I've seen them be physical with teams, but I've also seen teams kind of be out physical them, like Bowling Green kind of out physical them for a good portion of that game. So we'll see. Yeah, we already went over all that. Let's see. Actually, wouldn't mind giving love. Half the carries he usually gets, and the rest is knee. Yeah, I mean, the only problem with resting him is if you don't, what are you resting him for if you don't win the game? So, yeah, Kadron Young. I love Kadron Young. He's great. I've seen clips of him and obviously highlights, but I've heard a lot about him. I like him a lot. Ender's mentally stronger. Let's see. Irish boy. No one has seen Kadron this year. I know I haven't seen him, but I've heard about him. And the kid is electric. They'd be cool. I'd be cool to see some new faces in there, get a little action. But I think that X factor. Obviously, we've talked about a lot of different X factors, a lot of different players that are going to have to step up. Obviously, it's going to come down to Drew Aller and Riley Leonard, like we said. But I think it comes down to even more so than that, 3rd down and red zone defense. And I think Notre Dame is as good, if not better than Penn State at most of those things. And so I think the difference maker is the defense. I think Notre Dame's defense is playing at a very high clip. I think Penn State also hasn't faced much of the competition that even Notre Dame has. Notre Dame had a softer schedule, but they faced 2 really good opponents in the playoffs. That's something that Penn State didn't have to do. Penn State got kind of an easy cakewalk into this. They had to face SMU and Boise State, whereas Notre Dame had to face Indiana and Georgia. I think that experience and those tough battles and fighting, I think that lends itself in this game. And I really like Notre Dame in this game. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be fun. But if I had to pick it right now, I'm saying Notre Dame 27, Penn State 24.
Go ahead, Rich.
I'm thinking 31-24.
Okay. Who?
Oh, the Irish.
Okay.
Oh, the Irish.
Okay.
I ain't picking Penn State. Come on.
I'm gonna go. Since it is the night before the game, I'm gonna go Notre Dame 24, Penn State 17.
Okay. I like that. Let's see here. 28-17 Irish, 30-17 Notre Dame, 23-13. I like that one. Let's see what Irish. I'm struggling to say this. ND not having to provide safety help on the outside is the difference. Best pair of cover safeties in the country will be able to bracket Warren. Exactly. I talked about this the other day. Xavier Watts and Adon Schuler are absolutely the reason that Penn State will not be able to throw the ball, because they will not have to worry about the wide receivers burning the corners or anything like that. You won't have to provide a bunch of safety help. He's absolutely right. And you're going to allow these linebackers to play the run and have Schuler and Watts just focus on Tyler Warren. And I think that's going to go well. 35-17, Savvy says. Joe's got 31-28 Notre Dame. I love it, guys. I love it. Yeah. Jay Grizz. That's awesome. I think it's gonna be fun, man. And let me. There was one more that somebody had asked where to go. Will there be a post game stream? I'm down. I will have the kids in bed by the time this game is over, and I would be down to do a little post game stream afterwards, for sure.
What time do you think that game's gonna get over with?
10:30. Maybe 11:30.
I'll still be up. Yeah, I'll still be up.
Yeah, I don't know if I can swing a post game stream. You might have to roll solo on that one,
That's
Carter.
fine.
But I just think that Notre Dame is in the best position all year. You know, we've been going for an hour and 4 minutes. Do you guys got anything else that you want to add, contribute?
No.
We'll be back.
Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. We try to know ball. We do it. We spend a lot of time watching and studying ball to try.
Yeah. So, yeah. With that being said, everybody. Yep. Jay Grizz, thanks for the sub, man. Get it, helping us blow this thing up.
Thanks, Jay Grizz.
With all that being said, hit that like and subscribe button. And help us blow this thing up. And program note, we're going at 6:30 tomorrow, 6:30 all the way until kickoff. Yeah, because I know you guys are going to want to watch the game. We'll probably end it right when maybe watch the first drive, and that'll probably be it. And if Carter decides he wants to do a stream later, it'll be probably most likely Carter or Richie. I will be out. But programming note, tomorrow and Friday, 6:30. Spread the word out. We'll put it out on Twitter. And follow us on Twitter, too, if you want some more updates in case there's a hiccup in the schedule or something like that. But turn on the bell notifications, hit that like and subscribe button. And with that being said, everybody have a good night. Go Irish.
Go Irish.